So what should you expect from your realtor in terms of working on your listing and the honest truth why your home is not selling? My name is Antonio here from AV Team Real Estate, and we've been selling real estate for many years. If at any point in this video you have questions about the real estate market, drop them in the comments down below or reach out to us directly at 416-836-8987 or use our website at avteamrealestate.com to connect with us. In today's video, I would like to make it more personal about how I work as a realtor, and I hope that by the end, you have a better understanding of how I and my team, including my business partner, Van Gang, operate. So there's a question that always bothers me when a client asks me what I might have done differently when listing their property, especially when it doesn't sell in the first week and has been on the market for weeks and weeks with no tractions. The first week of launching on the MLS always get the most attention and views. The reason is most buyer and buyer's agent, if they are looking out for their client, they will immediately look at the new listing that just came out to the market, knowing that we are sitting low in inventory, mostly in Ontario. So for most realtors, if they don't get enough showings or when buying agents are not calling to inquire the property, just to be frank, usually there are two main issues. One, price is not right. Two, the features and the timing. Yes, there are far more than these 2 points that I mentioned, but in this video, I will go through examples that assuming you are in a relatively good location and the house is professionally cleaned up and well staged, and why it is still not selling. Let's talk about the price. I think the best way to explain is through an example. The seller may or may not have the expectation of how much their one-bedroom condo unit is worth. Just let's say the seller has been thinking selling for years, so he pays extra attention to his neighbors, and even sometimes hear from other realtors mentioning that the condo unit next door is selling for, let's say, $600,000. The first question you should ask yourself is whether the seller is comparing apple to apple. A one-bedroom unit in the area has tons of variations and also market value, whether it could be square footage, with or without a balcony, there's better views, parking lot, lockers, floor numbers, and condition, etc. So when the seller hears from other realtors or neighbors talking about the price, how similar they are describing the comparable unit to the seller's unit, it is impossible for a realtor that you met, let's say on the hallway, to determine the true market value without even analyzing your unit. But the truth is, this will undoubtedly make the seller believe and have a fixed mindset of what the property worth. And that will bring me back to the point number one, which is the price. It's overpriced. Overall, in the Toronto market, as I explained earlier, it is still a seller's market due to the low inventory. As you can see from the Korea housing snapshot for October, new listings for condo are down by 30.9% year over year. So, however, you could wonder why your property is still on the market and not generating interest, or there are no offers coming in even though the market is so hot. The most obvious factor is whether the price is right. The fact is that the seller should rely on the market statistic provided by, let's say, the real estate agent rather than his or her own emotions or beliefs. If the seller has enough patience, they will look over all the comparable sales with the agent, and if the prior sales show that the comparable condo unit is actually selling for, let's say, $520, why do you think the seller insists listing at $600,000 will work? If there are enough demand, yes, of course, someone would have bought it. But in this example, the unit has been, let's say, sitting there for more than 50 days. Seller may be affected by too many emotions, and they may also be assessing the realtor's ability or effort based on my observation. I'm not suggesting that real estate agent is always correct, but if he's presenting with facts rather than his own opinions, the seller is more than likely could be a little bit overreacting. The point here is to have the seller examine the actual data and reflect on why the seller believes the price should be what it is. In addition, if your unit is at a higher price point, the lower price unit may use your unit as a reference point to make it easier to sell theirs. Furthermore, depending on the reason for selling the unit, reducing the listed price as little as $5,000 to $1,000 may create greater interest. Don't get stuck for a tiny sum and let it become a major roadblock for your next investment or goal. Bottom line, think about it. Some more and see what makes sense for you. Perhaps now is a better time to go on to something else. Before moving on to the second point, if you liked the video so far, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to support us creating more videos just like this one, and we will greatly appreciate it. Point number 2. Features and timing where the seller's expectation was really not met. This is somewhat related to the price. Again, what is better to give you an example? Assume the seller is aware that a 1-bedroom unit with similar square footage, floor level, and maintenance fee is similar to this unit. However, the difference between the subject and the comparable is that one has a balcony with great views and the other has a parking lot with a locker but without a balcony. The seller believed that having a parking lot and locker is significantly more valuable than having a balcony. In all sincerity, I agree with the seller, and a parking lot and a locker storage would certainly be worth more than a balcony. Making an analysis for a parking lot and a storage locker could easily worth more than $30,000 in Toronto. And again, why is the comparable unit without a parking lot and a locker but with the balcony sold for $10,000 less than the seller asking price of $600,000? The answer to that would be pretty hard to find out if the real estate agent doesn't follow up on all the contacts that generated from the listing. For most people would agree a parking lot and storage locker could easily be better or worth more for a unit that don't come with it. However, your own expectations are not always accurate. There could be many factors when it comes to buyer's thought and process. Since I tried calling all the buyer's agent to have conversation and try to get as much feedback as possible to find out why a comparable 1-bed unit with a balcony instead got more views and sold within weeks when both are listed about the same time. The outcome was kind of surprising to me. Most feedback told me that they were not looking for parking lot since the location is relatively accessible with public transportation, and they were prioritizing the balcony over the parking space. This story just proved to me that not everything you assume is believed by everyone. And here are the interesting facts. Where people searching in that area were buyers that don't need a car, and due to the COVID, they would rather have a balcony for extra security measures. Now, just to be clear, these are just my own opinion. There are many factors that could affect the sale of a unit, and we can't simply ignore the timing as well. The right buyer could be coming in at anytime. So for the seller, the most important concept is that you hire the right agent who does what they're supposed to do. And then there's a matter of following up on all of the possible contacts. This covers both unrepresented and represented buyers. This isn't a bad slash for many agents who simply list the property on the MLS and hope for the best. They don't follow up at all. That could mean you're missing out on a lot of potential buyers. In the past, just speaking out of my previous cases, there were many buyers who were just browsing and is in the very beginning of the stage of looking for houses. However, since I did call back and ask what they were really looking for, I gave him the overall market condition and as to why that is a good option, and they might miss out some of the details, and they end up purchasing it even though that was not their first initial intention. That is the difference between a full-time agent and one who is only doing it part-time and not putting in the necessary time and effort. I believe that in a strong market like Toronto, many agents don't need to do this to sell the property, but in the tricky situation, a skilled agent may make all the difference. Another thing to consider is checking the agent's social media to see how focused and dedicated he is to his own business. We are, as you may be aware, in the midst of a strong digital era. If the agent does not have a strong digital presence, the likelihood of the agent remaining full dedicated to the business is somewhat limited. If the real estate agent is continually creating video for various social media platforms, this might easily demonstrate that he has put a lot of effort, which could apply to his work for your listing as well. Outside of the MLS, you get a lot more exposure. At the end of the day, you just want more eyeballs to your listing. I hope you all got some value from this video. If you did, be sure to check out some of our other videos on YouTube, and as always, like and subscribe to our channel. I thought this to be interesting in some way. Please leave a comment below if you have any topics or questions you want us to cover, and we'll see what we can accomplish in the next video. Thanks for watching.